Alright guys, welcome back. We are just gonna roll right into it because there's a super fun session planned for today. Last time on Stories of the Sovereignty, episode 4. The druid and the alchemist were able to save Meb, a very sick Neferian, from what seemed to be near death. The biggest conclusion that they came to was that she was being sapped of her life force. But how and, the root cause is still a mystery. But through the druid and her powers, they were able to at least narrow down the direction in which they need to go, and thanks to the alchemist having maps on hand, they now have a game plan. But first things first, they need to wait for a crafter to come to town. Moshi also stole a bag of holding. Let me see here, what else? This will not be forgotten, by the way. A local Virgus that was in the area for unknown reasons ended up going completely feral, essentially insane, and started attacking livestock. It was at that point that our party was able to step up to the plate and take care of the situation. So where we left off, Zunari and Ivania are currently dragging the corpse back to the headhunter's cabin, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct? Good.
Yep.
All right. We resume, and you guys are dragging a Virgus corpse through relatively empty streets. Everyone seems to be in either going to bed or just done with y'all's crap as you are walking through town with this corpse. As you guys reach the hunter's cabins, the lights are still on, they're still up, and Sedano, with the door open, actually comes out to greet you guys. And he's like, you guys care to explain what in the hell is this?
You attacked first. Actually, no, that's not true.
I mean, he did kill livestock.
That is true. We were... this was quite a messy situation down at the farm, I guess. And we lost one of the whatchamacallits, the periphers.
Yeah, one of the floofy cows. Sorry. Sit
Guess
down.
me and someone will just kind of flop the corpse on the ground in front.
Drop it real quick.
Sindana's like, so this is the one that's been just attacking the livestock for the past few days?
Hmm.
And you're like, well, shoot. That's pretty unfortunate, but I guess we, go ahead and throw it around back, or actually we'll take it around back, and he calls up a couple of his men, one of them being the young kid that Soren has scarred for life by walking in without a head.
I tip my head to him.
But the boys end up taking it around back, and he's like, oh, well, I suppose I do owe you for your services, because, we'll be able to take care of that and get them up to the gardeners and stuff. And so he pulls out, you guys each get 5 silver.
Nice.
And right as that happens, you hear the scrambling of little tiny feet, and the druid is running past you guys to the body. And at this point, she is crying.
Soren will float over and kneel down next to her and put his hand on her back.
And she's like, "Oh, honey. Oh, what happened?"
Wait, the druid?
Yeah.
And she's crying?
Yes.
I'm quite confused. Like Vanya's like, wait, hold on. What's going on?
The druid's like, she's like, I was doing my meditation while Zigza was taking a nap. Mev still hasn't woken up, and I felt through the forest what happened. So when I saw you guys were coming back, I had to come see for myself. Like, I can't. It's a terrible thing that he didn't make it. You know, he gave us hope that not everything wild is not worth saving.
So you know this one?
She's like, yeah, the old coot of a Virga shaman dropped him off on my doorstep about a week ago. And, you know, it seemed like he was making a recovery. You know, it seemed like he was just gonna simply make it. And he started wandering closer to town, but he never could quite get up the nerves to say hi to anyone, really. And
Are we talking about the Fergus?
yes.
Okay, sorry. Thanks.
And she's like, but I guess he didn't make it that far. She's like, that really, she's like, that's, we came so close to being able to save him.
Out of curiosity, was his becoming feral connected to our recent slew of murders or deaths or illnesses anyhow?
She's like, no, this is... Unfortunately... Well, fortunately, unfortunately, however you care to look at it, that's one of the problems with Virgus these days. You know, their home was destroyed, and ever since then they've been very sensitive to loss. And so whenever they lose family, or they lose friends, or they lose their pack, they literally have nothing left to cling on to, you know, their morality. They go wild. And the crazy old coot, crazy old scrap of fur, managed to bring one back from the brink. To bring one back from that feral animal state. He gave us hope that maybe we can just help them out from here on. So he's like, I'm gonna go have to bother the old man, and I'm gonna have to see what went wrong, because that gave us a lot of hope for their people.
Did this one have a name?
She's like, it did. His name was Sanfin. And he had a wife and 3 kids before what happened to him happened to him.
Well, Zonori, looks like you were right. He did have a wife and kids.
It hits.
I think we didn't do the thing.
The druid's
It's
like,
a little.
she was like, what thing?
Nothing.
Don't worry about it. It didn't happen.
But she's like, well, now he's with his wife and kids, so you guys can rest assured of that. And Soren, she
Wait,
kind of...
they're dead?
She's like, yeah, they're the reason he went wild.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
She's like, oh, that's a hard thing. She's like, all right, well, is there anything else you guys are going to be doing tonight? I think you guys gonna go get some food.
I still have a map to copy.
I think we left Jondy's like in a rush, didn't we? Weren't we like sitting down and eating and everything?
Yeah, the bell rang, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
You guys did. She's like, well, if you're going back to John Dee's and Soren, she jumps up in your arms. She's like, go ahead and take me there. And she's like, I feel like a late night meal.
On it. I'll sling her up on my shoulders like a child.
Oh, she is mildly jealous.
Speaking of the bag that Moshi got, like what kind? It's like a satchel like mine, right? Or is it like a backpack kind of thing?
She bought a standard backpack.
I might have to borrow it, and I can carry Moshi in the backpack at some point.
That'd be amazing.
All right, so we're heading back to Jondy's then.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. On our way, like while we're walking, I'll just kind of ask the druid, "How did his family die?"
She's like, you know what? I didn't think to ask. She's like,
Probably killed
the
him.
shaman probably knows, but no telling where he's at. Freaking geezer tends to just pop up like a freaking daisy.
Sounds like someone we know.
All right,
So
so
oblivious.
back to Jondy's.
Yep, so back at Jondy's, a lot of people have turned in. It's really just her and Lotu cleaning up. And, she's like, oh my god, you guys gave me such a heart attack. I was like, she's like, I'm gonna have to, start, packing your things. And she's like, you left your bags here. And it's like, what am I gonna do with that? And she has clearly had a few drinks. Her anxiety is through the roof, and seeing you guys all alive and well is freaking her out.
I'll put the druid down on the ground, and I'll go start picking up the supplies we threw over the counter.
Jondy sits down at one of the stools, and she kind of hoists the druid up, and the druid's like, you want to find some company tonight? And she's like, I never mind your company. I wish it was more often. Why do I always have to come visit you, huh? Those two start engaging in conversation.
Ivania's pretty surprised. I did not think that those two were such close friends.
It's the sweet buns.
Who is Jondy
Gotcha.
not friends with?
All right, so I'll get up all of the equipment we threw over the counter, and I'll just lean it against next to the doorway for when we head out.
Okay.
And then I'll go sit down with everybody. We need to finish off food and drinks and stuff. Do we need to get anything else?
I mean, everything's probably cold now. So.
Ah,
Yeah.
And Jondy sees you guys kind of like looking around and lost, and she's like, oh, I already cleaned up your messes, don't even worry about it. I thought you guys were never coming back. She's like, don't even freaking worry about me. And she has leftover sweet rolls in a basket, and she just kind of throws the basket at Moshi. She's like, you can go ahead and take, she's clearly off her rocker tonight. She's and Lotu's
Can I roll
just
for a sleight of hand to snatch one?
you may.
No! Can I
I
roll
feel like
for
Moshi, counter
roll
counter sleight of
perception.
hand.
Yeah.
getting them all? Can I-
Roll perception.
Me?
Yes.
Okay.
I got a 19.
Yeah, so yeah.
You did.
I did not get a good one on that one.
As she threw the basket, a couple of sweet buns went everywhere, and Ivania managed to reach out and grab one.
I immediately stuff it in my mouth.
Nice. Actually, Moshi looks over and sees it, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, good call.
So-
And the druid also takes one of
One
the
can
ones that
resist.
fell out, and she's nibbling on it.
What the?
I think I still have an old one in my satchel, so I'll take it out and I'll bonk it against my face.
Well, all right. If is there anything that you guys need to do for the evening then, before turning in?
I think we got our supplies, we got our maps. I think we're good.
Well, you
I-
guys
I'm
don't
gonna
have the
have to
max.
head up.
Ivania needs
Oh.
to go.
Yeah,
And,
Vanya
Have to go
has to
collect it. Go get your
copy
map.
it.
So, Ivania, you can go ahead and head back to Zigzaz. It'll be couple hours to copy it, but then you just turn in and you can still get a full night's rest. Zunori, what do you want to do anything before you turn in for the night?
So Nori's gonna have a bit of a wander through town, a bit slowly, because the similarity to this Vergus's family to his family is striking. So he's kind of having a bit of a reflection, I'll say, and worrying about his family and such. And glad that he got the letter that he sent away when he did.
Okay.
But yeah, he'll just be like slowly making his way back to the barracks, as it were, taking the scenic route.
And that is rather uneventful. I'm saying why that was.
And then Moshi and Sorn are heading back, I guess.
Yep. And
Yeah,
so
we're just gonna go home.
Tsunori, your walk is uneventful and very pleasant in the evening, and with everyone turned in, you essentially take as much time as you need. And yes, Moshi and Sorn, we will follow you two back.
Ah. Okay.
Or unless you guys are gonna stay and pester your poor
I guess I'll
heart
gather
attack
up all of
Jondi.
the equipment and I'll have that in my hands. We'll head back. Do you want to piggyback?
Yeah.
There we go. How's our walk? It's not long. You're like super, super close to Jondi's, right?
It's yeah. It's a little across the square, but yeah.
Her house is on the other side of the town square, from John Dee's. Probably about like,
It's not too bad.
yeah,
but-
like about 400 or 500 feet, so it's not too bad at
we'll
all.
just walk back.
And
Well,
your
I mean,
armload
float
of
back.
I'll float back, yeah.
your armload of the adventures kits and tents and stuff that you guys have for travel. Good idea to take that, because who knows what would happen with John Dee at this point with how far gone she is, and the druid strangely keeping her company. But you guys, yeah, and since it's such a short walk, there is no fatigue or anything like that with how much you're carrying. Sorry.
Sweet.
So you guys can store it at Moshi's while until you guys are ready to actually leave on the adventure.
Perfect.
Sweet.
Okay, and is there anything else you guys want to do before you guys go to bed?
Oh, she's tired.
She's ready. She's ready. Okay, well, we're going to take a quick 5-minute break, and when we get back, surprise! So, quick bio break, quick rest break. We will be right back. All right, we are back, and we are actually resuming with Sorn. Sorn and Moshi have retired to Moshi's house. It is definitely later in the night than they normally get back. The town is, at this point, shut down, and everyone is resting for the night. Moshi, and all of the Moshiness, is has vehemently insisted on going right to bed, and even though it's just like a simple one-room house, Soren still respects Moshi's wishes and is laying on the floor with the moonlight coming down. No light, he has no candlelight. With him being a shadow creature, he can also see very well in the dark. And he pulls out one of his books. He pulls out one of the books that he had received earlier from the alchemist Ziegza. And by the moonlight, he starts to look at this book, and it slowly starts to come back to him. He doesn't know where it's coming from. He has no memories prior to, essentially coming into existence a couple of months ago, but from somewhere, knowledge is returning to him. And as he's looking over this book, there's a nice cool breeze that drifts across the floor, and he gets the sense that it feels like he's in a loving embrace that is reading to him in the night, that is soothing and comforting. It is the same familiar presence when he was brought into existence that he recognizes only as the night sky. And with that, he looks down at the book, not knowing why this book was specifically given to him. But as he pulls it out, the journal is a soft chestnut leather with a hint of cyan blue sparkle. It has seen much weather, carrying areas of warping and discoloration, mud, and plant scrapes. Maybe even an animal chewing on the corner a little bit. Imprinted on the front with fading surety is a sphinx sigil. Admiring the pack of handmade and soon parchment pages, the edges are also weather-worn, like the cover, but the writing on the inside is remarkably unblemished. A small paper is tucked on the inside of the cover, darker tinted and in much better condition than the rest of the book. It's only been folded once, though, making it easy to open delicately. After a short time, the words start to make sense, and Zunori is able to read, once again with this very comforting presence looking over his shoulder. And it reads, "Humble Ziegza, I strongly hope you remain blissfully ignorant of the danger this book holds, as that it may be enough to absolve you if this is found in your possession. But I trust your sturdy judgment. Perhaps you feel the same forces surrounding this as I do. Whatever the reason here is here is the information you have requested. This book was found on the road that forks to Denini and to the deep forest within, the Eventide Forest. There was a small clearing by a hill with a very long-lived tree watching over the area. A bed of soft moss blankets, its massive roots, making it the ideal spot to rest on for long travels and, sure enough, read a book. There were a couple of ink spots near the spot, but no quill or ink. There was no blood or struggle sign either. It appeared as if it had been patiently waiting or absent-mindedly forgotten. As a proper mage, I should have immediately turned this small tome into the Hall of Memory for research and record keeping, but also as a proper mage, there are forces in the Aether I respect and fear far more than any military backlash. I was compelled when visiting you to pass it on to you after hours of excuse me. This is Soren, having difficulties making out the words. Yes. I was compelled when visiting you to pass it on to you after your request of verification. Where it goes from you, I hope, is as silent and swift as a gentle breeze. Your possession of this book brings me anxiety every day. Regardless, in the library of Chenagawa, there was a ledger copy from Lathalas covering the 1st century where it is verified many named individuals proper. The 2 individuals in question were marked in as students and out as deserters. Not uncommon in the first years of the treaty. Please inform me as soon as this moves closer to its destination and away from you. Honorably yours, Jerzash. Zunori tucks the letter back in and opens up to the first page, where it says, "This token tome was created and inscribed by Nilian, son of Corda Rovera and Sojoru Dostal, high citizens of Tirnaufheim in the court of Sevilla. Turgoa has called to me, and I have honored his call. May memory honor and enrich all that we know. Signed, Nilian Relivera Dostal." Soren has trouble making out this date, and understandably so, as this date structure has not actually been used since the 1st century after the treaty. Sternadato 34 of the seeding season in the 2nd cycle of the new royal era. It's been 2 annual cycles since the separation of the realms settled down. Prime Minister Jonasetios was gracious to let Grand Master Oranos move the Lathalis, excuse me. Soren is having issues with this word. The Lathalis Citadel to his realm. We have been settling in fine, but my master insists I take up Master Rumnuen for tutelage, stating a desire to stay with the world builders and continue his study. Of course, I am happy for him to even have the opportunity, but do not quite trust his replacement, Zinul. Maybe that is just having found comfort in Arenos' fatherly lordship. Master Rumnuen isn't a full memory mage. He loves to manipulate elements over memory storage, but he has been good to me in my calling. Although a handwritten journal escapes my understanding, I will respect his wishes for my studies. I suppose it's a good idea at this time, though, with so many strange things occurring. Stranger than having your world ripped apart, and stranger than your school being moved across the vast space even, as strange as that all sounds. Our citadel has been fairly empty with the move. Some mages did pass on in the wars, but many survived, and that was relieving to hear. No, it is simply empty because most of the mages are out and about assisting the world builders and the purifiers and the crafters with their work on each of the realms. The decision to move in with the Prime Minister Jonasetios also pleases me. He's often very courteous to us young mages. I was not content at first, but this land and its skies are indeed beautiful. The other realm is rumored to be way too bright, but I suppose I should enjoy this land for what it is while I am here, for as soon as I graduate I will need to live in Ard Ile for access to my new home, the Hall of Memory. Forgive me for rambling. It is unbecoming to be so unrestrained in one's thoughts. Perhaps this is my master's reasons for a simple handwritten journal. A young one like me can only continue wondering. Sternadato 35, Var Moon 1. Reading my last entry, I realized I spoke of strange happenings without actually articulating any of them. So yes, indeed the Citadel is very empty right now, housing 1/6 its usual population. My class even. I'm the only one bound to the memory path. We've had to share mentors across several paths, making learning days tedious and erroneous. But my other classmates and I have been very understanding for Master Rumnuen, who has been very appreciative of our patience. Zalvi is following Enerzio, wanting to help train up a new and now unified young civil service generation. I think he really simply enjoys the cool battle magic he gets to do. Jogniern is interested in being on the Mages Council one day. Like their friend, as they've told me before, perhaps they can be. They adapt well to new information and shows quite an aptitude for general magic. Telny is a bit of a strange case. Telny is a bit of a strange case. They are already signed to be a realm ambassador, having worked directly with the Ardry's personal messenger, Arcurus. But it is that same leader that insisted they train at the Citadel for a few cycles. This would appear to be normal, but Telny doesn't seem to be interested in classes or Master Rumnuin, choosing to observe and take notes over any participation. One would mistake them for being a scribe of my own. Lenessa has my fondest choice for the best classmate ever. She's confided in me her desire to train with the Druids, but her family would be abhorred by such a vile and dirty request. She has taken to more natural magics and is particularly intrigued by healing magic. We question if healers will still be needed anymore, at least not in such numbers, since the wars have been ended. I, for one, think she would make a wonderful forest mage. Her hair, after all, reminding me of harvest seasons changing, and the eyes of such deep green one would mistake them for doorways into the forests themselves. I feel lighter when she's around, and I do not mind our late evening chats under such beautiful skies that do nothing but complement her youthful grace. My final classmate at this time, until more return from the fringe, Kazuth. He has an unfaltering obsession with conjuration and elemental magic. If anyone took Arenos' leave hard, it was him, more so than Arenos' own daughter, Lenessa. He resents being denied to join him in his studies with the world builders, but makes up for the loss of his master with extra long nights in the laboratories. Seemingly obsessed with the connections one's soul can make, even if fragmented, if I had to describe Kazuth. Arenos was one of the mages who aided and made more purifiers. Must have really enraptured Kazuth to have witnessed such an anomaly. Oh, before I also fail to mention, lastly, in our humble, quiet house is Sybil, who if Grandmaster Zinul is our new father, she is definitely our longtime and forever matriarch. Even though she is just our maid, her company is welcome by all. And it's rare something happens here that she doesn't pick up on. Fortunately, she is also honorable, so I know my feelings for Lenessa are safely kept. Now, to those strange happenings other than what's been mentioned so far. Grandmaster Zinul has been receiving an absurd amount of messengers, despite having such empty halls. He's also taken to sending out groups of rangers in the night. They do not return for many days, if they do return at all. One that returned had their whole existence wiped from their memory. I inquired with an aide of Turagoa, his sister I believe it was, but she was just as baffled. At least that's what she told me. Her demeanor and her lack of investigative elements told me otherwise. It told me that she knew quite clearly what actually had happened to the shell of a man, but did not choose to disclose it. I was not inclined to press the matter. I would have loved to study with her for a few days, so at least if I do not piss her off, she may welcome me in the future. Shortly after, she quickly returned to her duties on the fringes as soon as she came. Still, though, our new Grandmaster is growing increasingly agitated. Lenessa has noticed this, but Kazuth seems to revel in the drama surrounding the Grandmaster. As I write this, Sybil is scornfully tutting at me. Perhaps it is time to turn in for the night. Excuse me. All right. Sternadato 39, Var Moon 5, midday. Classes may be chaotic, but they have been very enriching. Telny is beginning to open up and seems to be a bit of a prankster, much like their brother Lanasi from the sounds. Jognirn has been the least amused. I suppose, though, it is entirely understandable. His academic journey has taken him away from his new babe, Ilanet, whom he must watch growing up through the bitter letters from his resentful wife. Grandmaster Zinul has had no new developments, nor does our local weirdo Kazuth. Alas, this update is intended to record a happening with my dear Lanessa. It started a couple nights ago, but she has become more fatigued, unable to obtain a restful full night's sleep. Last night, after she confided this to me, I gave her a signal ring. The companion ring, to which I now currently wear, she can use to transmit emotive-based messages, signaling me, as it were, if she finds herself in need. Take this moment, for example. I am currently seated under our sweetest fruit tree. It's blooming all around, and she is across the courtyard, enthralled by Kazuth's antics. His current fixation is on the floating stones and boulders that adorn the citadel's spires. At this time, he's attempting to physically scale the smooth carved courtyard walls to gain a closer look. If I am interpreting this right, she admires his analytical fascinations and direct experimentations to find his own answers. But she is also greatly amused by these occurrences of him continually falling on his rear. Signaling back to her what I hope is diluted and respectful way of saying how much happiness it brings me to see and hear her laugh, and that there isn't a single flower in this whole blooming courtyard that can compare in beauty to that of her. Oh, embarrassed. I apologize. Perhaps that was still too forward. But she is still smiling and enjoying herself. So now I hope you, my dear reader, now have a good idea about signal rings. They do not transmit whole messages, nor do they work without the other, also being worn, but they have many uses and qualities across vast distances. For now, I must record the events, and without this information, it may make no sense. Our nights are now cool compared to the warm days, but no longer carry the frigid chill of the twilight season. I was laying in my chambers, most likely the last to fall asleep for the night, other than for the mysteriously consistent Sybil. Must have barely started dozing off when a sudden anxiety came through the signal ring. Faint. Was she intending to send it? I later found out it was being sent by her while she was dreaming. That's one mystery solved. So yes, I was nudged awake by this dull anxiety, and then slammed with the force of 100 perifers, apprehension, fear, absolute trepidation. It was only a few moments before I was running down the halls of our personal quarters. Her door was locked, and with a finger to her lips and a dim-lit candle, there was Sybil, with her keys already out. Never did get a straight answer, but I failed to care in that moment. Once inside, I found Lanessa in a puddle of sweat and tears, tossing and turning in her sleep, mumbling incoherently, but at this time the signal ring was outright blaring to me the pure distress and pain she's in. Great loss, soul-wrenching, whatever is happening, and beneath it all, like lining under a meal plate, rage and fury. The desire to enact vengeance. It caused even me to start salivating over such warranted satisfaction. That is, if it wasn't adorned by such unabridged torment. After a metaphorical spell, I managed to wake her as gently as I possibly could, both actually and through the signal ring, trying to provide her with an invitation to safety and comfort. She gratefully accepted, and anguish washed over her as she fell sobbing into my arms last night. I know not when, but eventually she and I both managed a short rest before the morning told, Sybil having watched over us and guarded our door all night. My dear Linessa, while I am curious of such a horrific dream, I dare not encroach on your wishes, and only wish to say I will always be your harbor in such storms. We did not need a signal ring to communicate our appreciation for such a connection from across the spring happy courtyard. Perhaps we should finally tell Kazoth there's a balcony specific to accessing the heights of our magical spires. Sternadato 41, Varmon 7. Evening. Linessa has continued to be plagued by nightmares. One of our healers has been tending to her, thankfully, a younger healer that has taken an extra interest in the illnesses of one's mind. She has been to the point of only sleeping during forced rest, and while she was napping in her care, I chose to turn to my studies. My classmates are equally concerned, but more detached and curious than involved. My freshness to the path of memory is showing, I'm afraid. Linessa is not resentful, but I am greatly perturbed, as it is such an oversight. When one is plagued by vicious nightmares, they are unresolved memories. All of our dreams, for that matter, are excerpts and flashes of our own memories. It is not often in one's dreams in the night consecutively, unless being plagued by nightmares, by these unresolved and unsolved memories. Inquiring with Linessa, it yielded honest yet expected answers. I did not think she has been subjected to such atrocities before. Luckily, she confided in this in secret before falling asleep to her medicine. Sybil quickly hushed me, that it must not get out what is happening, only to say that she is ill. But if these are not her memories, then whose are they? It's the same every night, so it must be a memory. If she cannot sleep, I will not either. I will get to the bottom of this for her. Sternadato 45, Vormoon 11. Played for damn fools. In my ferocity to help Linessa, I have let my guard down. Kazoth sits smug, and I can only speculate he had a part to play in this disgrace. Linessa is being held for treason. She has been taken in and arrested to await to be taken to Ard Ile for judgment. Such a fool. Illegible scribbles. I apologize, my distant reader. I needed to calm myself. As useful as emotions can be when dealing with magic and in magical places, this is not the time for such unabridged behaviors. There is nothing I, nor the equally as furious Sybil, can do at this time. Linessa is being magically imprisoned by the Grand Master himself. At least, they have not taken her signal ring. She impresses calm on me, resignation and longing, appreciation marred by pending dread. It is a great lesson, for it has been 4 long days, and I now find myself regretting not entering records as previously instructed. Mistakes do make for powerful teachers, so now I backtrack for you. In one of my Hall of Memory manuscripts, it began to mention access to memories with no restrictions, such as time or space. It is an intangible skill, neither created nor inherited. It simply occurs, and it only occurs in individuals. They have yet to find any sort of pattern or selection or process, let alone much of anything about the actual ability or anything of its mastery. What more, they have found to have Those found to have magical sight, it's referred to often, are quickly picked up by a secretive group called the Parsalian Order. It is presumed to be made up entirely of these seers, but no one seems to have a solid answer. It's also widely accepted that seers are only ever found briefly upon discovery. After that, they are no longer found. There is no place, no form, no way to communicate. You cannot seek out the seers. You can only request them to an empty room, or welcome them if they show up at your door. They do not knock twice, as it is said by other scribes. They find you. When I finally unraveled this information, I immediately sat by Lanessa's side, waiting for her to awaken naturally from another forced rest. The healer let us be alone, save for Sybil, who paced between her duties and checking in on us. I requested her presence when Lanessa wakes up. I feel like Sybil might have something to offer on this subject. She does strangely know too much without speaking hardly at all. Maybe this is where we messed up. We stopped checking for eavesdropping days ago. Perhaps it was due to exhaustion or simply being so focused on her well-being. It's hard to say as much as it distresses me. Though the signal ring is now telling me she's insisting I stop being so hard on myself. As she wishes, I will do my best. Continuing, late that same night, she awoke and I jostled Sybil awake, who was dozing in the seat nearby. Lanessa appeared more fatigued than ever. For some faint reason, I do not think these forced rests are helping, which would make sense if it didn't, given the mysterious cause. I waited patiently for her to eat a quick snack meal, simply some sweet bread cooked and topped with a complimentary spice and cream spread, and I managed some more of her favorite fruit juice. She is more grateful to me than she is of her sleep. It is time. We must know. I am curious. Lanessa nodded back to me and invited both of us closer, trying to speak as softly as her tormented voice would allow. How can a conversation feel so big yet also be so small? I suppose this is one of the questions I have to answer in my line. This was one of those moments where time ceased to pass properly. Lanessa told us many things. Even though most of her nightmares made zero sense, we were able to discern together that she was indeed a victim? Is that the right word? She says no. She has sight. Uncontrollable, reoccurring. This memory is not hers. Nor does she believe it has yet to pass. She thinks she recognizes some of the people, but they look so much younger than how she knows them now. She says one of these people she will also see soon. I cannot tell who she means, though. Her descriptions also make no sense. I wish not to disclose much more, but I do have to record at least some of these things. What she saw was authority. Killing everyone without warning, without prompt or reason. And then returning home victorious, claiming justified action and reaping recognition as if it were some great and noble deed. Our authority is false, built on blood, bodies, and feathers. This telling roused her so much despair. She wishes every time she sees it to stop it from happening at all, that she'd do anything to stop them. Sometimes she sees it from the eyes of the guilty. Sometimes she experiences it from the perspective of the innocents. But it is always the same atrocious event. This is the part where we agree someone might have overheard, as it can only make sense that such implications would harm anyone's current power after such a fresh treaty. She refuses to say who, simply communicating authority. But whoever received this leaked information is clearly threatened by her revelation, because now she faces treason. Filthy, disgusting people, disgusting authority. Never have I been so called to my duties as now, to right the wrongs. When the time is right, we can help expose them. I give you this, my word. But we'll keep it secret for now. We don't know how much they know. And Sybil digresses, play ignorant. It would be foolish to spout this out loud. We'll wait. Shortly after we arrived at this conclusion, and as we found a new reason to be apprehensive, wondering when some Parsalian specter was going to whisk her away to a place that no one can find, to people that no one can contact or speak to or even know what they look like, that's when the door broke open, flying across the room. Warm candlelight flooded in as it was quickly turned into torchlight in moments. Grandmaster Zinul, his recent behaviors rearing a toxic context now reflected in an almost phobic lust towards Linessa. 2 mages that returned from the fringe this morning accompanied him, and they arrested her on sight. Suspicion of treason, blaspheme, and slander, they quoted. She put up a fight at first, and Sybil and I were held back. But then she started begging patience, that it's no use. The walls are unpenetrable. There may be another way. Be patient. Sybil and I followed, tears flowing, unfortunately, freely. I think I forgot how large our citadel was. I don't recall it taking so many ages to reach the Grandmaster's quarters, but it did. The whole way, such a ruckus prompted more eyes than deemed comfortable. Zalny and Jogniern, greatly perturbed and genuinely concerned. Kazuth had a disturbing look on his face, as if the spectacle amused him. Talvi, however, was nowhere to be found and still isn't. If of anyone I would have expected to let leak something like this and also avidly watch it play out, it was that one. We also have a few new classmates, too, that are watching, but I have yet to formally meet them or care. Linessa playfully scorns me for such a silly thought, once again dazzling me with her grace. Meanwhile, Sybil has gone to assign some of her duties to those same new students. I hope I covered much as is safe without implicating my Linessa more than necessary, if this journal is found. But you, my distant reader, must be worth the risk of this being read by the wrong people. Linessa is agreeing and also feels the same way, that this is how things should be. But I contest this, my love. I cannot accept this course of events. We will find a way, one way or another. We will look back on this and laugh. Oh! Now she is prompting me to shut up and go to sleep. All we can do is wait now. Sybil, in all of her mysterious matriarchal glory, is mirroring Linessa's behest. This is, without contest, the most arduous night of my life. I will update, if needed tonight, if I recall anything else pertinent, till the morning star rise, and yes, even beyond then. And as he finishes that journal entry for the day, noise starts coming in from the town square outside. The star has risen for the morning. And even though he cannot smell it, he starts to see Moshi's nose twitch and can only presume that morning has indeed started in their humble little town. And with that, we shall take a 10-minute break. So I'll be back in a moment. All right, guys. Oh, thank you for honoring bio breaks for stretching and sanity and hydration purposes. All right, so we are starting a new day with Moshi and Sorn. Sorn strenuously was able to read a part of one of the books that he had received from the alchemist Sigza. And Moshi is just now starting to stir for the smell of the sweet ones, but also the town square is surprisingly louder than it normally is.
I'm sorry, the town is what?
Surprisingly louder than it
Louder.
normally is, and puppies are always never apologized for.
Oh yeah, this is my dog.
Puppies! Hi, puppies!
You wanna come say hi? Sit.
Aww.
Hi, puppies! Oh.
Yeah. This is
Aw.
Graham. Welcome to the stream, Graham.
Oh, look at him.
Treat time!
Yeah, there we go.
You wanna
He's like,
do a
nice to
trick?
meet you.
That's a good home.
You sit up.
Yes.
Oh,
Nice.
Aw,
Aw.
Good job.
what a
Okay.
performer.
Well, I have been awake the whole night, so
Oh my gosh.
hearing all of this outside, I guess that'll pique my curiosity, and seeing Moshi start getting up, I'll just kind of get up and start heading towards the door. Maybe peek outside real quick.
Are you joining him, Moshi?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm up.
Yeah, I'm up.
I'm up.
I'm up.
Hops on the back.
I'm awake. I'm awake.
All right, so I'm just, as your DM, I'm just gonna presume you guys are immediately gonna go for sweet buns.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
is there anything
why?
interesting happening in the square?
There
Oh, yeah.
is.
I'm
you
gonna
know,
take a look around. Yeah.
I'm not gonna have you roll perception checks though.
Okay.
So this is for all of you for when you do start getting up and coming up for the day. Zunori must have stayed up really late last night and all of his shenanigans. But the town square is now full of locals from all around, and you recognize many of the locals from out in the farms, and they're all setting up shop. Some of them are pulling out tables, some of them are setting out their goods, some of them have stalls, and it occurs to you guys that this is a market day, not by calendar. But news of Bray Luke the Crafter coming to town has reached the entire town, and thusly they're hoping that having a crafter in town, they can not only sell much of their merchandise, but they can also purchase goods and services with the crafter in town. And so that is what you guys are seeing and experiencing, is all of these storefronts going up. You see Oslin and his hard goods, he's setting out extra armor displays and extra weapon displays. Zigza's door is fully open and the cat is mechanically meowing at you guys from across the way. And various locals just bustling back and forth. You also walk into the tavern to see Jody viciously at work, trying to get extra pastries and baked goods out for the morning rush.
Oh my.
All
Wait, so
right.
it's like a French market thing?
Yeah.
I was gonna
will-
say farmer's market, but dang.
I'm gonna.
Wait. Is it like just food? I'm sorry, I was kind of distracted.
Different like merchants and stuff, right?
Yes.
Just all
Yep.
kinds of stuff.
It is a just whole mesh of practically everyone.
Seeing
Okay, so-
Slowly
John
coming
D-
together.
Seeing John D struggle, I will lend her a hand and cast Mage Hand and grab a tray and kind of wait for her to direct where it's going.
So without skipping a beat, John Dee's like, oh, you know what? Slide that one right in the oven. She also picks up a towel and throws it at you. She's like, if you're going to be helping me, you're going to be wearing one of these.
Oh no! All right, I'll
Yes.
wrap it around me and I'll, I'll do what she asked.
And so you guys are feverishly now both tag teaming. She
Wait,
has
I'm making the buns now too.
You are helping. Yes, she
are on
has
my shoulders.
slipped a batch of freshly baked sweet buns, and you must sprinkle the cinnamon sugar on top and get it ready and set out in a basket.
Sleight
Full
of hand check.
baskets.
Ivania makes a mental note.
Cinnamon sugar. Yeah, so we're just, okay, Johnny.
We have to stay in her good graces to make her like us more.
Can I see if I can see any of her ingredients?
You see flour.
Well,
Make an investigation check.
okay.
I help. I'm definitely helping.
You're not even here.
I thought we were all there.
Oh, I was just I
think it's
dragged
just
Tish
Soren
with
and
me,
I.
or I dragged Moshi with me because
Shoot.
Well, I mean, Ivania, if you're already up and about, you can be there too. Same goes for you, Zenori. Unless you want. Do you want?
I got a 14.
Ooh. Ooh, hold on. No, doesn't cut it.
Dang it!
ooh,
You can tell flour. Oh, but Zunori, do you want me to move over to you, or are you gonna join in time? Do you want to talk to your captain or anything?
No, I don't think I need to.
Okay.
I like to
I've
think
got it covered. I'll be over there.
I like to think Soren is like holding the plates and Moshi is like sprinkling.
we're doing like a rapid fire. It's like a line. I'm just grabbing a plate. You sprinkle and move. Grab the next plate.
Just a production line. Just keep it going.
There
Keep
we
it
go.
going.
Production line.
Yep, and you also see that she's also, not only making her sweet buns, but she is making various different kinds of sweet buns. Some of the farmers have come over early and provided her with fresh picked fruits. So she has different flavors than she usually does.
Cool.
And marked with, purples for the darker blueberries and pinks for the strawberry raspberries and
Soren wishes he could eat. All right. Move on to
Zenora
the.
walks into frame and is
There we
like,
go.
"Ooh, blueberry."
Johnny's like,
Ivania. Oop, yeah.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say that I was up late, but the morning cactus has been has alerted Ivania to everything while she's packing up. So like she's taking down the hides and the cured meats because we're moving out. I was like, what is going on today?
Right, and back in the tavern. So, John D actually pulls out. She tends to bake an extra couple in each batch, and she just pulls together this variety plate. And with a nice flask of hot bean juice and small cups, she sets a table for you guys, and she's like, "Thank you for your help on the house. Enjoy yourselves. I'm gonna get back to work." She shuffles off to continue back to work. The shelves that normally produce farmers fill in her tavern have been moved outside now, and those produce farmers have been hanging around as the market day is continuing to boot up.
Well, I will immediately sit down and. Is this like a booth? Is this like up against a wall?
The table you guys are currently at is in the middle. So you guys have space on all sides, but it is relatively close to the bar area.
Okay, I'm just gonna sit down at the closest chair and kind of lay my head down on the table and try to take a short rest while everyone else talks. Because I didn't sleep at all.
I just imagine Soren just like
into a pile of rocks.
My shadows kind of die down and tame a little bit, and I just kind of sit there.
Well, okay, hold on. DM clarification. That did count as a short rest. As you were not doing anything too strenuous, it's not a full long rest, but it still qualifies as a
Either
short
way,
rest.
I'm still tired. I'm laying down.
Oh. And then also, just for public information, the narrated story was specifically for Soren, but due to the nature of his shadow aether elements, the others may have caught glimpses in a dream, but they don't remember or recall because it slipped away like it was a dream.
Oh yeah, Moshi didn't remember any of that stuff.
But she was knocked out. Man's tired. All right. So I'm passed out.
Yes, you are passed out.
There you go.
Sonora be like, oh, I need this morning. Oh,
He's got props.
So, point of business. We're making our trip this morning to Chinagawa and then to Wolfheim. Oh, God, I need my coffee.
So, clarifying real quick, I'm still, when I'm like resting, I'm still kind of aware of my surroundings, right? Just like naturally. I can't remember if that was a thing that we had talked about.
You naturally have some senses, but like if someone is talking to you, you do not consciously hear them. But if someone like jostles any part of you, you're up.
Gotcha. All right.
Something like a pile of rocks in the middle of a tavern. It's fine. And Johnny's like, I didn't work him that hard, did I?
God, I hope not. I'm gonna need him today.
I mean, I went to bed first, so I don't know what happened. Maybe you stayed up too late, I guess.
So, gosh, my memory's all tattered and torn. We're heading to Fulham.
Yes.
To see who again?
To investigate the possible source of the illnesses, as it is coming from the general direction of Woolholm.
Oh, we weren't going to see someone specific.
We were going to wait for your sash, weren't we?
I will wake up. We're waiting for the crafter, which is why all the people are here now.
Oh yeah, I had no idea.
So he may show up today.
Because you guys have decided to take the routes through Chinagawa to get over the river.
Yeah, we're going north.
Then going down to Woolholm. Which, with your talk with Siegza last night, on foot is about a 4-day walk. If you guys take travel services, whether it's a wagon or animal, it'll be about 2-3 days of travel to get up to Chinagawa. And then an additional day on the way down to, or an additional day across the river, and then about the same length of time going down to Woolholm.
So a 4-day walk, what does that translate in how many days of a float?
Well, that depends. Are you carrying everybody? Or are you just going to leave them behind? Because if you leave them behind, you can get there in one.
Nice. Later, guys. I will attempt to just push a sweet bun against my face and see if I can find a unguarded mug to pick up and splash against my face.
Roll investigation.
All
Moshi,
right.
the babysitter, roll perception.
Damn it.
All right.
You said investigation for me?
Correct.
23 or 22.
I got a 20.
Moshi sees this happen in slow motion
What am I seeing? I'm sorry.
as Sorn looks to this, starts looking around, and up on the bar table, his arm extends and his hand floats out, and he grabs a full mug of hot bean juice. And in slow motion, you are continuing to watch him mimic drinking. It just splashes all down the front again.
You can't do that.
I snatch my bag out of the way.
Wait, Soren's like fire, right? Or something? Or is he? No, he's shadow.
Yeah.
Shadows. Yeah.
Shadows.
They're
Oh,
like
okay.
black
Bummer.
flames.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Oh, it looks like flames.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, that'd be really funny if he was drinking and it just like
Extinguished.
no, it did.
Evaporated.
Yeah, like turned to steam and like.
Oh,
Anyway.
great.
But never mind. I thought it was. I forgot.
So I am pretty curious about the market that's forming outside.
I am too.
I'm going to take a look around.
Moshi doesn't want to admit it, but he wants to look too.
How do you spell the crafter's name again?
Brayluk, BRALUC. Everything. What?
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 Okay.
Wait, who's this guy?
Brayluk. He is, you know that he is a Swartland crafter. He is...
He's who we're waiting for.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Because he's coming
When
down...
did that happen?
So...
I'm so sorry. I'm like not here today. I mean, I'm in character.
I mean, if you're in character, yep, go ahead. Who would like to answer here and bring Moshi up to speed?
I'm sorry.
We are waiting for this crafter to come along, and so we can get information. Then we can get on our way to go to Old Home.
The crafter is coming down from Chinogawa
Why are we talking to him though?
because he's coming from the way you need to go.
Oh, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Cool.
Information.
Yeah.
Can I tell that Moshi also really wants to go see the market?
Roll insight.
What's my insight? 14.
Well, Moshi hasn't fully waken up, so Moshi's emotional walls are not fully up yet, so you kind of pick up on that Moshi really wants to go check it out.
Oh, she just
Right.
keeps. I keep like looking over there.
I'm gonna grab another sweet bun for Moshi and just hold on to it, and I'm gonna kind of motion my head towards the door and get up and start walking that way.
What? Where are you
We're going to the-
Where are you going?
It probably doesn't help the situation at all that now the local bards and musicians have set up, and there is a soft little jig playing throughout the town square now.
I go about as well. I want to look at what's going on and hopefully sell whatever I have in terms of game. Like, I apparently have some Chinkabird carcass and hide, and as well as Takdao meat and hide. And apparently some of it's already half cooked, thanks to Sorn.
So you have
I
the
forgot about that.
So you have the option to wander around aimlessly, but people might assume that you had already purchased all of that. You can sell it to you sell your goods to a applicable local merchant at a smaller price, so that way they can resell it from their stall.
Fair.
Okay. Oh yeah. While you guys are walking around and checking out the market.
Wait, I actually have an idea. What if we traded? Like, I gave him my raw materials for something that they have.
What
Was
would
that
you be
was that a
wanting?
thing?
That could be a thing. That depends on the merchant.
Bartering.
Also depends on what they have. Yeah, if they have something I have a special interest in.
I do have a special interest in something I'm specifically looking for. So when we get around to me.
Oh.
All right, so Ivani, we are starting with you then. By this time, much of the local merchants are already set up and ready to go. A lot of the residents and travelers are out and about. The smell of John Dee's bakery is now mingling with a floral perfume scents, and you across the way see the bathhouse Lintets have set up their shop, and they are selling various soaps and perfumes and a lot of fine fragrances that seemed weird at first, but it is the bathhouse after all.
Do I know any? Oh wait, no, they're the ones that live here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Wait, do I know them?
They run the
Not really.
bathhouse. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not really social that way, so.
No, I'm not.
They just know you as a traveling Lintet. You're just in the area for a while. That weirdo that befriended the old guy.
It's funny that the two characters that are like antisocial as hell are the ones that hang out.
Tells you a lot about Moshi.
But one of these stalls, you see a couple of the hunters running, and they also have various animal furs and treated meats, as well as just hunting, various hunting gear, in general at their stall. For the one running and currently talking to potential customers is Keegan, who is the one that is very suspicious of Sorn and Moshi, as they scared the crap out of him. Also, like running around without a head and screaming, "Where's the head hunter?"
Oh,
Where is he?
He has vengeance. His Stan waves at you because he sees you carrying it, and he's like, "Hey, what you doing there?"
He's talking to me?
He's talking to Ivania, the little one.
Oh yeah. I was like, I'm looking for well, I'm about to be getting on a trip soon today, and as a matter of fact, and I'm looking to see if I can get rid of some of my goods and perhaps pick up some new gear.
His Stan goes, "Well, luck would have it." And he's like, we don't need any animal furs, but considering this is market day, odds are everything's going anyway. He's like, he kind of looks at what you got, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll take your furs off you for 10 silver, and meat for silver apiece."
That sounds like a pretty good deal. I might just take you up on that. Do you happen to have anything? Well, I do have two. One small game hide, a Chinkabird hide, and a Takdao hide, and I have like 4 or 5 pieces of cured meats on me right now. What would that get me?
So you said 3 small hides, 1 medium hide, and then the 3 meats?
Yes.
So it's 15, 10, and then 21 silver.
And sold.
Alright.
For 21 silver.
Alright, you guys exchange, and he's like, "I hope you don't mind, but we're gonna mark this up a bit so that way we can make some money off of it."
Only natural. And let's see what you got. Mostly looking at the gear at the moment.
So there's a number of various animal hides. A couple of large animal hides that would be good to turn into leather armor. But for gear, they have 2 crossbows as well as various bolts. They also have some handmade arrows. He has a couple of bedrolls and rope. Lots of rope. He also has various cut wood pieces that you typically see used for setting traps. Guess you could call it like a trap kit. I don't know if that's a thing. As well as a couple of hooded lanterns, torches, and some daggers, a couple of poles for tents, but they don't have any tent tarp, they just have the poles for the tents, and a signal whistle, and water skins and whetstones.
Do whetstones actually help, like,
with sharpening?
Yeah, does it actually help with combat?
Yeah, it does. Ryan. Whetstone. Whetstone for sharpening swords.
Wait, sorry.
What does a whetstone do in game?
Oh yeah, it sharpens like blades. Yeah.
Blade, yeah.
So in game it adds damage or restores damage?
It would probably be for like repairing.
Okay,
broken
so it is
blade
just
when
repair
it's
uses. There you
battered.
go.
Yeah, I don't think it like adds any damage or anything.
Okay, so it is just repair and restore.
Yeah.
Okay, yep. There you go. Whetstones.
Okay, that's fair. In that case, I might buy a whetstone and a bunch more arrows. How much would they go for?
Okay, so the whetstone goes for 1 copper. What else did you say between that and the arrows?
Just the whetstone and the arrows, yeah.
Yeah, so the whetstone is 1 copper. Bundle of 20 arrows is 1 gold.
Oh, that's actually pretty good. I'll take a whetstone and 2 bundles.
All right. Be sure to mark off your exchange.
I just checked really quick. It says when you spend 1 minute sharpening a single non-magical weapon or up to 5 pieces of non-magical ammunition, a whetstone will grant that item non-magical +1 bonus to attack damage for the next 8 hours.
Oh, beautiful. I have made the right investment.
Or 1 hour less per every fight that you get in, or, combat. So it decreases by an hour.
Does it get used up?
What do you mean?
Like, is it a one-use item, or does it, like,
no. You
persistent?
can keep using a whetstone. Yeah.
Oh man, for that 1 copper, this is a steal.
The things that you sharpen only keep their sharpness for 8 hours max, and it decreases by an hour if you get in a fight or something.
So 8 hours of like additional damage. You're saying?
Yeah, a +1 to damage. Yeah, not to hit or anything.
Gotcha. And I thank Keegan. I'm gonna conclude my business.
All right. And Keegan's like, he kind of goes to give you a warm, like, oh, have fun today, and blah, blah, blah. But then he looks over at Soren and just kind of tapers off.
I'll nod at him and
He just
start looking
jumps.
around. Is it are me and Moshi up now.
Yes, you and
All
Moshi
right.
are up.
I'm
now.
looking for two things specifically. One, like a clothing merchant of some kind, and the other, I'm just kind of keeping my eyes out. If I see somebody that is selling magical things, or at least claims to be selling magical things.
Okay. Roll investigation.
All right, so that's very good for me. 22.
Oof!
Yeah, I've rolled 2 17s now on investigation.
Oof. All right. So, clothing. You notice Tranem is out with his thrift goods and various clothes. You also see a couple of the farmers have bundled together and, have like hand knitted stuff and everything like that. But you also hear a couple of people walking by and talking, and they mention waiting for big purchases. Wait until the rest of the merchants get here.
Okay. So, I guess I'll wait as far as the magic person is concerned. If I'm like looking around, I'll go to that you said, like a thrift kind of thing with
Correct.
clothes. Okay, I'm going over there. I'm looking for probably something made out of like leather, but not like armor, just like traveler's clothes, because the journal that I read kind of made me concerned that maybe things of magical nature could be seen as I guess like negative in some way, and just in case I want to like kind of hide what I am, I'm gonna look for something that would like cover me head to toe, like something with a hood, maybe like a mask, and all the way down. Gloves and boots and stuff. Somebody wanted to say hi.
Aww.
Oh, true.
He came up and he was pawing at me. So there you go, buddy. Look.
Okay.
Oh, kitty.
Oh
my gosh.
Like, put me down, Dad.
So cute.
Damn it, human.
Human, why?
He came up and pawed at me, so.
All right, so you interested in the thrift good stall. Tranum is definitely disheveled and a bit of an oddball. Late middle-aged man. He's got bits of hair missing. His clothes are everywhere, and his shop stall is very crudely put together, but he places his items meticulously out. He has clothes hung up, the whole 9 yards, and mumbling to himself as he rifles through more boxes and meticulously placing them out. Which is a sharp contrast to his just very stray appearance.
Right.
Trenham sees you kind of approaching, and he's like, I've seen you floating around here for quite a bit.
Floating around. I'll nod at him and kind of take a look at his wares.
It's like, is there anything in particular someone of your build, your make, your material is looking for?
Traveler's clothes. I don't know how to describe it.
He's like, do you
While I'm
feel naked
standing-
right now?
Sometimes.
Moshi's trying not to laugh.
Can I roll insight to
Wait.
see if I understand what Sorn meant?
You may.
Alright. Ooh. Okay, that was a bad roll. Let's see. Plus insight. That's a 12.
You just get it at face value. But Tranum gets it, and Tranum's like, and then he looks you up and down, and he's like, He pulls out a piece of rope that has no markings on it. It's just a piece of rope, and he kind of measures you a bit. He's like, I'll be right back. Watch my place. And he runs into his physical shop for a bit. As you are left there holding this weird rope because he didn't take it with him.
Moshi, here's your chance. Here's
I'm
your
gonna
chance.
I'm gonna cast detect magic real quick. And see
He
if there's
meticulously
anything.
sets things out. He's gonna notice if something's missing. I already thought about this.
Wow, yeah. Experienced.
I still cast detect magic.
It's just a weird rope that has
Okay.
no markings, no magic. It's
I mean like
But it's about to strangle
all
you!
of his stuff around me. It's like within 30 feet. Anything within 30 feet, I can sense the magic on it.
Un momento, por favor. On his table, there is a little glass case that is attached to the table and locked. You notice some magic coming from within that. You also see a faint magic coming from this broken, bent metal mess of things that you don't quite see what it is just yet. You also sense a hint of magic coming from the pile of cloth that Trainum is walking out with. And Trainum sets it on the ground and he dusts it off real quick, and it is a large cloak with a hood.
I am instantly interested, and I'll float over and pick it up once he puts it down.
Well, he puts it down and he's shaking it out. He sees you float over, and just without another word, he just whisks it over you and buttons it up in the front and takes his little rope back and measures you weirdly again. And he's like, yep, I thought that was just the right fit.
I like this ability.
And he's like, I also found some pants to match if you want this.
I'll buy pants. If there's like a face mask kind of thing, I'll get that.
He
boots
does
and
have
gloves.
he does have various scarves, and so he's like, well, I don't have one that matches that particularly, but he holds out a various bundle, and you see some that are so that cloak is, kind of like a dark beige green. Where the pants are a dark beige. Don't have the green tint though, but a dark beige and still look good with the cloak. Your clasp is just a standard wood knob with rope going over it. And the scarves that he pulls out, some of them are various reds and purples and bright blues. You don't really see any subtle colors in there. You even see bright yellow.
I guess I'll just get the red one. I'll get the red one and I'll dirty it up or something.
Oh,
at
she's
some
very
point.
confused.
It doesn't need to like match. It just needs to not look strange.
So, Soren, why are you buying these things?
To blend in.
I think everyone is
Okay.
in you at this point, but
I don't
Also,
think it's
where
gonna
do you-
work, but all right.
how are you gonna pay for this?
Yeah. Well, no, he's got money. He
I have
stole
money, yeah.
He stole the dead guy's coins or whatever.
So
Well, and then
right.
I just
forgot
start
about
floating
that.
away as fast as I can.
No, come back. I'm sorry.
So, the total cost of those, he just looks at you and he's like, you know what? I could part with those for 3 silver. Don't remember where I quite got the cloak from, but I guess it don't matter if it's going home with you.
All right, I will hand him 3 silver, and just to clarify what I got: cloak, the scarf. Did I get Like I got pants, and then did I get gloves and boots? Just the 3.
Right now, you just have the cloak, the pants, and the scarf.
Okay.
The red scarf, specifically.
Ivania does not know that the cloak has any magical properties, right?
The what?
I'm the one that can detect magic. I don't know why you would be able to.
Okay. Ivania just says, well, if you wanted a cloak, I could just make you a leather one with all the hide that I just sold.
Would you make me gloves and boots?
You just sold
I
it!
could have tried. Yeah, that's why if you had told me earlier,
I didn't know he could make stuff, or Ivania could make stuff. So
Actually,
Zorn had no idea. I'll nod at the merchant and say, "Thank you," and put everything in my bag.
And Tranum just goes, anytime. He looks over at Izunori and he's like, did you want anything today? At some point, I'm going to get you to buy something.
Not today.
Not today.
Have you seen the crafter today? Have you seen Brello?
And he goes, oh, no. Everyone's way too quiet for the crafter to be in town yet. But if word has it right, he should be here soon.
Very good. I'm sure I'll buy something of yours when I very much need something.
And he's like, I'll be here on that day.
And I'll saunter off.
We'll, I guess, continue. What's it called? Looking around. We want to keep looking. So, Crafter, do we know he's going to show up today, or might it be another day or two?
Word on the streets is that he's supposed to come in today, and you guys did hear from... Wait, did I see his name before? No, Keegan's the hunter. Okay, Histian... No, Casion. Casion is Bray Luke's younger brother. He is the one that originally sent word to, Wait a second. You know what? Make a history check real quick.
Everyone?
Just giving you information here.
Wait, everyone or what?
With
4.
advantage.
Oh, wait. Okay. It's not much better.
Ooh.
History. Oh, actually, that's a 15.
Alright, good enough. Between the lot of you, you guys piece together the events of the past few days. You remember Casion mentioned sending for his big brother because of the events with the alderman and with Mev, Casion being one of the Neferians in the alderman's employ. And he sent for him and mentioned that he should be arriving today, which is probably where word got out to the rest of the town, because crafters do not simply travel in secret. With how in demand their services are and how few supply of manpower they have, it is a very big deal when a crafter travels.
Do we know exactly what they do that's so special?
So crafters are able to make materials easily from raw materials. They are also able to imbue items. They are able to quickly build things. Some crafters are generalists, like Brayluke is a generalist. Because he sees to, he's in a rural area, so he covers a few towns with his services. Whereas in the larger cities, in the larger cities, you'll see more than one crafter, and they may start specializing, where a crafter specializes in fine clothing, while another one in powerful weapons. But they all receive their training from the Svorland, Isle of Svor, and the crafting profession takes about a century to graduate. So it's on average half one's typical lifespan.
All right. So we're looking for at least a middle-aged dude.
Not well aged.
Hold on, I gotta bring it up. Bring it back out. All right. Right, fine.
This booth is gonna be super crowded.
The what?
Yeah, we gotta scope it out
is he gonna
and be like.
I think the booths are here because he's coming here. I don't think he's going to set up one for himself.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't know.
I don't know.
Tsunori, roll perception.
Perception. Uh, 14. Seems to be going number today.
What's with the odd numbers? All right, yeah. Across the town square. On the other side of this, because right now you guys are in the south of the town square by Tranum's and by Moshi's house. Way up at the top, you do see Casion and Zolvanar waving at you from over the crowd.
I'll make my way over there. I'll motion to everybody else if they want to come along too.
Oh,
I'd
I'll go with
probably
him. Yeah.
All right.
Moshi, you don't have a choice. You're on me.
Okay.
Wait a minute. You put the cloak on, and I'm
No, I put every...
okay. Like I'm in the hood,
sitting on Moshi's head.
I feel like there's a special way you can
disguise.
tie it.
We just found some way I can sneak you in places.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am digging this.
You know what?
The teamwork.
Moshi, roll stealth with advantage really quick.
Oh, I don't have the cloak on. I don't have the cloak on.
Oh, dang
Yeah,
it.
I put it in my bag.
Oh, dang it. Never mind.
Everyone's seen me
Next time.
here. I just got the clothes in case, we go somewhere else and I don't want to stick out.
In my head, I was like, okay, it succeeds. You guys go say hi. And then Moshi pops out. Blah!
But if we see something we want to steal.
Partners in crime.
Oh my god. Soren has the wrong influence in his young little life.
I don't think we picked alignments, but I would definitely be neutral.
True neutral.
Oh my god. Oh, this is my life now. All right. So you guys go to Casion and Sylvanar, and they're like, "Wow, everyone is out and about this morning."
Yes, it seems like we've all got something to prove this morning. Looking out to all the people.
It's like,
I think they're looking for. Maybe they're looking for apprenticeship or something.
Casion's like, "Yeah, my brother has that effect on towns, especially his towns. I mean, it has been a while since he went around the land and service towns and stuff like that, so I feel kind of bad not inviting him earlier. I'm sorry."
It's quite all right. I'm not losing sleep over it at all. Everybody else seems to be enjoying it though.
And he's like, "Yes," and they hear the music, and one of the farmers has set up a little candy cart with various hard and soft candies, and Sylvanar's just kind of eyeballing that, but right as he's eyeballing that, Lotu runs up with a closed basket of sweet buns, and she's like, "Here you guys go. We wanted to give this to Mev this morning. Give her our best." And Sylvanar's like, "Yes." And she's like, "And save some for her." And Sylvanar's like, "Okay."
Can I try to steal one?
Like,
It's a closed basket.
Ah, damn it.
So it would be sleight of hand with disadvantage.
Yeah. I'll just let this go this time.
No. And Casey Ann's like, oh, she'll like that. By the way, she's up.
If I just like
Really?
excited, like, oh, just
Wait, who's up?
Mev.
Mev, the
Significant.
yeah, the
Oh,
significant.
yeah.
Does Leaf Dira know?
Oh. Yeah, and they're like, yeah, she's up there right now. She's like, Zigzag came by to visit this morning, but she had to come back down and set up shop because what merchant wouldn't want to miss an opportunity for big sale day?
That is true.
Of course.
And Sylvaner is like, you guys want to come? You guys can come with us if you want. We're heading back up there now. We just had to come down and let you know that she's awake.
Let's do that. Do you know when my goodness. Words. Are you expecting your brother anytime soon?
Casey Ann said, yeah, any moment now. He, in his last letter, he was at the proper checkpoint, so he should be here. He should be here soon. This afternoon.
He should be here today. He should be here any moment now.
This afternoon?
And Casey Ann's
that's
like,
too long.
I'm sorry, I don't have a bird I can continuously send back and forth to him.
He does.
Is that a jab at Zenori?
That's a jab at Moshi.
What?
That's a jab at Moshi.
Wait, how? I don't get it.
He said, he doesn't have a bird that he can send back
just
and
being
forth
sassy.
consistent. Yeah, exactly. He's being sassy.
He's talking back to you.
Maybe you should get one.
In case Jan's like, are you going to pay for it?
Why would I pay for it? It's your bird.
At this point, I will kind of start distancing them.
Go back! I'm not doing that guy. Where are you going?
All right, and you guys start making your way, and you see that the shops are spilling out of the town square at this point. Even the main streets are lined with merchants of all sorts, and now it's getting hard to walk in the middle of town, and seemingly everyone from the area is now up and waiting for a crafter to come in. You guys make your way up the Alderman's Hill, and that is where we will take a quick 5-minute or 10-minute break, bio break, because we're a little bit off schedule. So bio break now. Be back in 10 minutes.
Oh.
All right, we are back, and the DM did not humiliate herself. She embraces her humiliations. Yes, that is. All right, so you guys are currently walking up to the alderman's house with Zovanar and Casion to go see Mev. Mev, who has been sick for a few days now and barely escaped the clutches of death. The alderman's wife is sitting at the top of the hill by the fountain with Mev, and they are currently just talking and sitting, and you don't see the alderman anywhere, but the alderman's wife just seems to be enjoying Mev's healthy appearance at this time. And Zovanar runs up to her and she says, "Here, John, you wanted to make sure you got these today." And Mev's like, "Oh," and she opens it up and she sees the multicolored sweet buns, and she's like, "She's got all the different flavors today." And she's like,
Can I try to grab one now?
roll sleight of hand.
Awful.
Can I roll to counter this? Can I roll to like not allow this?
You may roll dexterity, or no, roll well, no, I'm going to use your passive perception. So.
Yeah, that's a nat 1.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
She's
So,
reaches for it and slaps
yep,
it on the ground.
Ivania sees you going, and it's just like, "Bleh." Like,
No.
no.
Man. This person was out cold. Let them have this.
Mev sees her try and sees this goes down, and she just hands a sweet bun to Moshi anyway.
Oh.
She hands one
Fine.
to Ivania, and she hands one to each of you guys. And she's like, "Casion, this is exactly why you need to invite your brother here more often." She's like, and she grabs one of the blue ones. She's like, the blue ones are my favorite. Starts nibbling on them.
I agree.
I bonked mine against my face.
I've already stuffed the entire thing in my mouth.
I'll offer Ivania my second one, or mine.
It's all like half squished.
A little
Yeah, it's
squish.
like-
Still delicious.
Slightly flattened.
I take a tentative bite and I was like, you know what? Not too different. And I stuffed the rest of it in
This
my
is
mouth.
smoky flavor.
I'm not a
Yeah.
salt rock.
No,
you did.
no, it got flavored from the hot bean juice that you spilled.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was about to say. I was like, yo, it's hot bean juice all over it now.
Oh, goodness.
All right.
Ooh, I'll walk up to Mev and I'll say, "How are you feeling?"
Much better. She's like, I had no idea I was even sick for so long. So, like, I just woke up and I was rested and I thought it was the next day, and Sylvanar was telling me it's been a few days. And the druid starts prancing up and jumps into Mev's lap, and she's like, "Oh, honey, you almost did not wake up."
Why did you tell her that?
And Mev just
Wow.
goes, "Well, let me guess, it was because of you, right?" And she's like, Lived is like, "You know what?" And she grabs one of the sweet buds and starts nibbling on it.
Well, we got the druid, so technically we were the ones that helped you wake up. So
Mev's like,
Everybody had a hand. All right.
she's looking around and she's actually just starting to tear up because she didn't realize she was so cared about.
Aw.
And the alderman's wife just puts a hand on her arm, and just kind of even though shoulder the alderman's wife is like a child compared to Mev, she just kind of leans on her. It's like,
Group
yeah.
hug? Group hug? Group hug?
Soren is uncomfortable and backs.
Moshi's gonna sit that one out.
Well, if you guys ain't gonna join in this group hug, you're
Sor-
lost. And I got
I will.
dive in for the hug.
Nice. I'm going to turn to the alderman's wife and say to her, Where is your husband?
She's like, oh, that little shit can be in the middle of the forest dead for all I care.
Damn.
Saying that
Zenora's
to a
like,
cop.
chokes on his sweet bun, like,
What?
I'll pat Zenori on the back.
sorry, I wasn't expecting that.
She's like, well,
Okay.
it's my apologies. I mean, to be fair, this was just the breaking point, but I've been looking for a reason to kick him the hell out anyway.
Wait, so he's kicked out?
She's like, not yet. He's just inside. I don't give a shit what he's doing though. But she's like, if by chance he's not here tomorrow, we may need a new alderman. Right there, Casey's like, oh, don't you worry about that. She's like, what you talking about? He's
I'll
like,
look at Casey, I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Casey's just like, okay, fine.
Listen, and I'll turn back to the alderman's wife and I'll say, look, between you and me, there might be a shake-up soon. Just a heads up for you. Just you.
She's like, if he doesn't see it coming, then he doesn't deserve to be in the seat anyway.
I heard nothing.
This is why you guys are amazing players. And Mev's like, yeah, she's like, I don't wish ill on him. I really don't. But he was just very mean to us all the time. And the alderman's wife is like, and that's exactly where he's gonna go. And I am planning a special surprise for you guys. She just looks up at Meg, she's all happy. Meg's like, she's like, I'm sure I'll love it no matter what it is. Yeah, you can tell they've been close this entire time, even despite the alderman's shenanigans.
Wait, so sorry, pause. The alderman, he's not a nice dude.
No.
What has he done again?
He's basically like, if I could reach out there, he's basically a slave driver.
Yeah.
Basically.
Is that it
working
about
condition.
him, or is there more?
And I heard she said something about political tomfoolery.
Reaching his hands in baskets, he shouldn't.
What does that mean?
Hey, Moshi.
He's got weird political connections, and that might be why he's where he is today.
Do I know? Does Moshi know of any of him or any?
Roll a history check.
God, why? Yeah, that's an 8.
Too many good rolls last session.
I know. I'm making up for it. Yeah.
That bag of holding is costing ya.
Whatever.
Still worth
Bag
it.
of holding out of it though.
I still think it's worth it.
That's fine.
Hold on. Leafdeer doesn't know what is being discussed in your small little group. She's a little bit distance away, even though she's on Nev's lap. But she takes a sweet bun and throws it at you, Moshi.
You're lucky with those sweet ones. I'm going to turn back to Mev and say, Mev, before I forget, was there anything unusual that happened before you started to feel tired or fatigued?
Mev kind of thinks about it, and she's like, I mean, unless you count weeding. I was just weeding the garden. When it started, but I don't think weeding's that weird. And the alderman's wife was like, well, is it like a poisonous plant? And she's like, no, it's just the annoying, she's like, it's just the annoying bubbly plants that have been popping up. And she's like, oh yeah, no, those are harmless.
Did anything happen the night before? No strange dreams, no weird happenings?
And she thinks about it, and she's like, come to think of it, the night before was super dark when I tried to go to bed. I thought, maybe it was just, a no moon, low star night. Maybe there was clouds or something, but I never got up to confirm it. I just went to sleep.
Oh, can we?
I was going to say, can we roll a history check to see if that night that she's mentioning was a very dark night?
You may.
Wicked.
What kind of a check would that be, actually? History?
History, yeah.
History.
Yeah, so history with advantage.
Oh.
Which, all of us or just one of us?
Just one of you. You may choose who.
I have very good history.
Very well.
I know things. Probably because I don't have many days under my belt. I remember them pretty well. 17.
All right, Sorn. You are able, once you piece together the sequence of events, there was nothing particularly dark and unnaturally dark about that night, especially with you being a shadow being.
Yeah.
So, presumably, whatever happened with her was just with her, an individual.
Localized.
I'll relay that information to everyone.
Especially the druid.
Yeah.
And the druid's like, there? Druid's like... She gets down and she starts pacing around the grass a bit. She's like, that's not exactly particularly worrying, but it's particularly worrying. And she was like, Mev, when you say dark, was it dark outside? And she was like, it was dark everywhere. She's like, that must have been when it hit you. Was it dark the next morning? And she's like, no, I was able to see fine when I woke up. Because my eyes were open. Druid's like, well, I'm at a loss. Hops back on her lap and gets another sweet bun.
Ivania exclaims, well, this makes a huge difference because now we know that it's not intangible. It actually... something actually happens. It doesn't just,
Happen.
It's not spontaneous. So now we know how to look out for the signs.
And she said she doesn't remember anything while she was sick. She just kind of nodded off and then came to, and she felt like it was the next day, but it had been days. Okay.
Snora is going to turn to the party and say, I think we just got another clue. Though what that clue may be right now, I'm not too sure. Darkness. Darkness. I may have to consult somebody higher up than me about this.
Gonna send a letter with your bird.
That is a good bird.
I suggest that we should make a note of this quote unquote symptom, and whoever may have a better idea we should consult them.
If we hear something similar, we'll know what we're dealing with. That's the same
Actually,
thing.
that's a good idea, especially since multiple people across the land have fallen ill
Right there,
to similar circumstances.
Leaf Deer is like, I digress. But all of those people have passed on.
It's the first to
The only one
survive.
that's lived.
Oh, the boy who lived. Oh,
Oh no.
But now we have a cure. A very situational cure, but a cure nonetheless.
And the deer is like, and isn't that the kicker? She's like, of all... She looks up at Bev and she's like, just so you know, you were worth every single drop. She's like...
Wait, what was the cure? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Leaf Deer is actually talking about that cure, and she's like, she's like, the stone that Zigza had brought had enough magic to level this entire village. And it was given to Mev's life force. She's like, that is where we, as magical beings, are able, some of us are more adept than others. And she looks over at you, Moshi. She's like, we are able to manipulate, certain magical forces that align with our souls. She's like, where you, Tsunori, have an aptitude to care for others. You have particularly taken to healing magic, which is particularly ironic given your chosen career. She's like, and you, Soren, are magic. She's like, every individual is their own capsule of magic, of aether. Aether is in everything. But Mev lost hers. Almost entirely. It is more to put back. It is more to replace than it is to maintain.
So we need more of these new age crystals or something?
She's like...
A lot of magic.
These bombs worth of magic, like...
And Leaf Deer just kind of like sits there and ponders a second, and she's like, it's about 10,000 platinum for that much magic.
How did we have that?
What?
Lying around?
She's
So
like,
in order to save the world, we have to buy it?
Pay to win.
Like, we have to buy the stuff?
I think she's trying to equate like how much magic was actually in that rock to.
Oh, okay. I was like, I'm super confused. Everything to Moshi is money, so I was like,
Exactly.
like, hold on, wait a second.
Whoa.
She said something about 10,000 platinum.
Moshi would have absolutely stolen that rock and not allowed Mev to live.
I don't know. Moshi is more of a heart than he lets on.
She's like, let's just put it this way. Some mages train for years just to be able to even hold one of those stones, let alone be able to have one of those stones.
So is this like something you find, or like I didn't get it?
She's like, finds are extremely lucky. Buying is extremely affluent, but creating is the rarest.
They're created.
I'm lost. Oh, okay.
Do you think only the swirling crafters could create them?
Yeah, who makes them?
I don't think they have magic like that.
She's
Like powerful enough.
she's like, the swirling crafters are the only ones that can make that.
Plot twist.
Interesting.
Are or aren't?
Are.
Damn.
Art. Sorry. I'm getting tired.
Sugar coma. Too many sweet buns.
I guess we better go look for the crafter then.
So these guys make these magic rocks with life force in them or something, or magic-y.
Ether.
Yep.
Yeah,
Leaf
whatever
Deer
that is.
senses your confusion. She's like, I
Not
understand
that hard to
that
sense.
you are having trouble comprehending complex magic.
Yeah.
And she's like, so let's put it this way. That stone contained pure, unassigned, untainted aether. Only the crafters can purify aether to that degree to be able to put it in such a small vessel that it is so concentrated. And we were able to take that concentrated, pure, untainted aether and replace Mev's life force.
Okay, and who? There are only certain people who can make this.
She's like, yes, magician or mages and other magic users are able to fill stones with magical properties. They're able to
Okay.
load them with spells, but to purify aether in
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
in that context and that thing.
Yeah. Who does that? Oh, they can? The mages or whatever?
No, swirling crafters.
Oh, sorry. Who are they again? I'm sorry. I'm asking so many questions. How do you spell that? Because I'll remember it if I can see how it's spelled.
I will whisper it to you.
Or I could just make up my own spelling.
That's what
Oh,
did
I was
with
almost
the
right.
Characters in the books.
Oh!
Or in the book.
Oh, from the Isle of Svor. I don't know what I expected.
Yep, and
So these dudes create. No, they purify, right?
they are capable of purifying aether. They are known for their
Oh, okay.
ability to create intricate items and build buildings and imbue items with magic. They are by far the most skilled at manipulating both aether and raw material.
Okay, so where are these guys? The island? Are they only on the island of Svor?
We're about to meet one.
Oh, that's who this dude is?
Yes.
Guys, I am so lost and I'm so sorry.
Vanya just like, come on,
I'm sorry.
And right there, in your angst, you're just kind of lashing around. You feel a small tug at your tail, and Leaf Tira has grabbed your tail and is petting it. And she's like, there. She's like, I did not mean to overwhelm your little brain.
No, it's.
Soren also had no idea what was going on, but he.
No,
was gonna
thank
stay
you,
silent.
Soren. Yeah, thanks for speaking up
Like,
there,
low,
making me
down
feel
a
like an
little bit.
idiot. And that way, and what's this guy's this crafter guy that's coming?
He's one of them. I did not.
Yeah,
I
okay.
didn't know that.
What's his name again? I need to write it down.
It is Greyluke.
Oh, I already wrote it down. Oh my god. Names, you guys, today my brain is just like not working. I'm so sorry.
To be fair, that was me last week, so.
Man, I've been rolling
To be
poorly. I am not all here today.
It's the wait for it, man.
Yep.
Oh, so we just need to. Yeah. Okay. So that's okay. Yeah. Never mind. I'm just gonna stop talking. We're gonna move on.
Okay. I don't know if I've got anything else to say to these guys.
I say treat these people with the utmost respect. I know you just stole a bag of holding, but these guys cannot be messed with.
They will fuck you up.
And actually, Moshi,
Wait, really?
I don't know.
You have history with swirling crafters. Because of your line of work, you've had to deal with them and stuff like that.
Whisper.
What? Okay, fine. With that being said, since I actually have quite a bit to fill Moshi on, evidently, let's go ahead and take another bio break, and that'll be our last break for the session. So, yep, 10 minutes.
All right.
All right, we're back. Sanity has been restored.
To
Figured
a
some
certain
things out.
degree.
Mostly it's just because more caffeine, but besides
Aye.
all right, so when last we left off, Leaf Deer was just kind of filling Moshi in on the crafters and trying to poke fun, but genuinely just happy to share information, even though it is with Moshi. It's guarded as Moshi tends to be. She's like, man, I guess the rest you'll just have to find out when he finally gets here. Speaking of Casion, you know when he's gonna be here? And Casion's just like, I don't know why everyone keeps asking me.
Well, the
Guess we
man
can
with
go
the
and wait
info, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
He'll be here when he's here. I know everyone can't wait, but
What did you say, Saul?
I said, I just said we could go and wait for him. If we're that eager.
Let's do that. Let's go wade through the wafts of people in the markets.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll
when we
catch
get
him.
there, I'll kind of look around for any new stalls, or if there is any new ones. Anything interesting, anything that catches my eye.
As you guys are just generally as a group moving down, and Mev and the older lady are joining you guys, as well as Casion and Zelvanar. You guys are starting to walk down the hill, and you notice the local band has picked up in volume and pace. You hear everybody getting loud, and everybody somewhat coming to your direction. As from the north and coming in is a caravan of various carts. And this caravan, you have to guess there's at least a couple of dozen people of various species. The first caravan is even being driven by a Jeptunir, who you have not seen in the village yet. And
A what?
A Jeptunir.
What is that again?
So this Jeptunir in particular... Oh, hold on. Give me 1 minute. Oh no, where'd he go? This Jeptunir in particular has pale aqua blue skin that appears to be skin but is actually scales. You also see what appear to be gill slits, but they are very much closed at this point. Fins adorned with pearls going back and down her head, and she's wearing just typical traveler garments. And her fingers, while they're webbed, also seem very sturdily grasped on the reins.
Is this the first time that Ivania has witnessed a Japanese?
You have seen them before, because
Okay.
pirates.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me?
Soren will lean towards Zenorian. What the fuck is
But where'd you learn that one, Sword?
My, how the tables have turned!
You know, it's weird
Nor-
when the pet rock is taken aback by it.
I'll slightly crack up. Like, it's a Jupiter. They're water people.
Do I know who they are? Have I seen them before?
You have seen them before, Moshi. You don't really much like them because you don't understand how they can live in water all the time, but you've dealt with them. Some of them shady, some of them honest.
Fish. Fishy.
This is
Yeah,
kind of.
I can't believe I didn't think of that.
Fish.
Fishy.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Yoshi, don't try and bite him.
Why would I do that?
They're not food.
What am I, some kind of heathen?
Oh.
Yes, please. It's a person over there. The frick on you, Vanya. Gee.
No.
All right, the
No respect around here.
crowd has gathered, and you see, you guys are able to see because you're up on the Alderman's Hill a bit, so you're able to see over the crowd. And the caravan is slowly making its way through a few covered wagons, a few wagons full of goods, and the middle wagon ends up stopping in the middle of the crowd. And this is the wagon that everyone has been waiting for, and seemingly larger than the wagon, you see this massive hulk of a man. He has to be at least 10 feet tall.
Sure.
Oh, hold on. I just have this thing here.
He
has braided, his hair is braided and there's still this huge black mane of a hair mess. And a large beard that comes down, but then you see it's kind of parted and tucked up around and braided back into his mane. He has massive leather chest piece that is barely able to keep the mass at bay. But along his leather chest piece and along his leather gauntlets that also cover the elbows, and you see that it is very well worn. All of his gauntlets appear to have just very, very well worn usage. They all have gold filigree accenting and banding around all of their edges, and he has pants to match as well as boots, but at the bottom of his boots, and you hear this when he goes to step off of the wagon, are just like metal blocks, and the second they hit the ground, the whole ground shakes, and you swear you feel that every time this dude steps, like the ground is shaking. And
well, Soren doesn't.
I can't. Yeah.
Bray Luke is overwhelmed by just everyone in the village just surrounding him and swarming him, and the person driving the cart kind of makes their way through the crowd into the town square, as well as the other carts try to get by, and Bray Luke's trying to push his way actually towards you guys as Cassian is waving him down. And right there, he's about to break through the crowd. You notice that a lot of these people are holding out offerings to him. And he just puts his hands up, and you swear it's amplified. It sounds like thunder, but his voice just bellows. And Ivania, your sensitive ears, you actually have to be like, oh my goodness. He just bellows. He's like, stop. If you guys want to give anything away, you give it to each other. I do not need it. And just this uproar, cheer, and he's like, I will see everyone in the square later. Please let me take care of business. And the crowd reluctantly parts but honors his request, and he turns up the hill, followed by two Jeptuniers who are male, both appear to be more male and are also stronger in structure to the average Jeptunier, seemingly his help, or at least his escort.
Wait, so they can walk?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Valid question. Yes, they can walk.
So how the fuck are we gonna get to talk to this guy?
Well, he's walking up to you guys now.
He's walking towards us.
This huge 10-foot dude walking up to me. I'm like, Moshi's like, oh, no.
You pretty much are like a house cat to him.
I will
Yeah.
float slightly higher than I normally do to compensate a little bit.
I'm holding onto Zenori's shoulder at this point because I'm quite disoriented. Was not expecting it.
Cassian just lets out this happy little yelp and runs over and Cassian's about 8.5 feet or so. Definitely smaller, but you just see him leap up and just tackle Brayluke, and Brayluke embraces him back, and it's just this warm, brotherly, absolutely heartwarming moment, because it's been a good minute since they've seen each other, and even Zovenar is just over there like, and Mev, you also, Zenori, as you take a peek over at Zovenar, you also see Mev wrap her hand on the inside of his arm.
Very cool.
Who's Zovenar again? I am so sorry.
One of the Alderman's Nefarians that he mistreated.
Okay.
He's the one that destroyed the shed.
Yeah.
Ah, cool.
Because the Alderman was mean to Mev.
Nice.
I'll walk up to them and give a deep bow.
And Brayluke, putting down his little brother, and he sees your armor and your regalia, he bows back.
Brayluke, I welcome you to Orkney. It's been some trying times.
And Brayluke's like, so I have been hearing, and his voice still resonating. Not to the point of hurting Vanya's ears, but still very much caring. And the older woman also says, yes, and I am grateful to have you here as well. And he's like, and he bows back at her, and he's like, older woman, it is good to see you again. He's like, how is your weasel of a husband? And she's like, rotten? Is that a good? Is that too forthright for me to say? Brayluke's just.
I mean, he just called her a weasel, so.
Brayluke's just like, no,
I feel like
no, my
rotten's
lady.
alright.
And he puts that arm over Casey on, and he's like, come, let's go talk about it. And you guys all walk back up to the fountain.
All right.
Meanwhile, I'm running to catch up with this guy.
I'll turn to everybody else and be like, does his voice go through your chest? Or is that just me?
Everything goes through my chest.
Vanya's like, what did you just say?
What? Moshi's hair is like... like...
I'll reach back and I'll offer a hand to Moshi, and if he takes it, I'll put him on my shoulders. There we go. You don't have to run to keep up.
And looking up, now that you guys let him pass and he's walking away, you do what you thought was a part of his mane and ensemble. You see from the back is a massive two-handed Nefarian hammer, and with veins of ruby in its intricate brass-colored patterns. And the head of the hammer is wider than you are, Tsunori.
My God.
That's gotta be so heavy!
I mean, look at the size of him.
Like,
Zenori's like sizing himself up to it, like, oh.
So you guys reach the fountain, and Mev offers a seat on the fountain. Brayluke declines it. He's like, no, you, please, sit. He's like, I am glad to see you up and about. And Mev's like, I guess me too. She's like, they tried to explain to me what happened, but I'm still having trouble believing it. And Leifdira, who is still in one of her arms, is like, Brayluke, darling. And she is smaller than one of this guy's hands. But you see these two little naughty brambly hands, like, reach out and grab his hand and try to shake it. And Brayluke's like, I didn't even see you. And Brayluke actually picks her up and sets her on his shoulder, and she's
Whoa.
like, and he's like, it's been a while since you visited me. Care to explain? And she's like, I don't like people. And he's like, fair enough. Okay. And she's like, and so he turns to Yuzunori, and he's like, my brother has told me much, but please, fill me in.
Oh, it's quite a lot to fill in. There's been a few mysterious deaths of late, seemingly starting quite innocent.
We need some magic rocks.
Yes, but we innocently enough it started seeming like fatigue, but then the fatigue turned into comatose state following death, or preceding death, I should say, and thinking that it could have been a disease or a poison or something turned up to a dead end. So we went and seen the druid, and the druid has since informed us that it's of magical nature. And the origins are mysterious at best.
And the druid chimes in, and she's like, I have seen it. It terrifies me. He's like, since when do you get scared of something? She's like, well, people. She's like, and he's like, fair, but what terrified you? She's like, when something is evil, it is still there. It is still something. He's like, yeah. This was nothing. It was empty. She's like, and he's just like, and the forest showed you this? She's like, what it could. It extended beyond the forest. He's like, kind of, between the both of you, he's like, do you guys know where this is coming from?
We are going towards Vanya's brain is still a little scrambled.
Awful.
Ovum, yes.
Deja vu. Hold on. Deja vu. Oh, yes. And the druid digresses, and she's like, yes, it is coming from the direction of Wilhelm, but it seems its effect seems to also be scattered. But that seems to be its strongest point. It's beyond Ulholm, though, and the crafter just kind of crosses his arms, and he's like, you just kind of see like half his face get lost in his massive beard. He's just like, that may not be good for what lies beyond Ulholm in that direction. And he looks over at Tsunori. He's like, you guys, Keiseon told me you guys have been investigating this. Is this what you guys are going to go see?
Yes. There may be a connection, however, I'm not too sure what of the connection. There's also been other deaths that have been happening for quite some time, a few cycles at this point. And we found out that one of the town's muscle men was actually a killer, a serial killer. And they were quite dark in their execution, I'll say.
He just eyeballs both of his chipped in ears, and they're just like,
This is far from everything else that's happening, but I can't shake the feeling that it's somehow connected.
He's like, well, if there's anything I've learned about Aether, is that there are forces at work you simply don't question.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing, Mev, could you please tell Brayluke about your experience with darkness before this all befell you?
She's in the middle of eating more sweet buns, and she was in the middle of handing another one up to, to the druid. And yeah, Bray cordially declines, but she's like, "Oh yeah, and relays the information to Bray Luke, and Bray Luke's like, there are some times with spells that is one of the effects of, being a spell being cast on you, a curse befalling you, or, magical properties being sapped from you. But without any more information besides that, from what Casianus told me and what you guys are telling me, there's still so little to go on other than this massive nothing that is towards Ulham. He's like,
that is precisely why we are going to investigate.
Comes to my next question. How or which is the best way through Chinagawa to get to Ulham?
Ray looks like, the road we just took. He leans down to one of his Jeptuniers and remarkably whispers. You guys don't pick it up. You just hear as his bumbling voice just kind of meshes together, and it's just like this little rumble. And the Jeptunier nods and runs off. And he's like, I told him to give a heads up to... Oh no! I just had her name. Hold on. Hanaya. Hanaya is my travel master, and she may have a few ideas for getting you guys up to Chinagawa. Where you guys go from there, you'd have to talk to her about. But I went ahead and sent him down to give her the heads up so she can start preparing for you guys. You'll probably find her up at the stable house when you're ready to go.
Okay.
I've never met Hinaya before.
You have not. You have maybe walked by her, but no direct, because you walked down from Chinagawa. So.
Okay. Well, I'm going to let you catch up with your family, and we're going to take our leave because this is becoming more troublesome.
Hey, can we ask him about the gear that we found? Is that important?
Gear.
Yeah, like...
You just want to mention that to Zenori?
Wait, I mean, didn't we, find one way back in, day one?
The gear was given, and I'll pull it out of my...
Oh, okay.
Pull it out of my cape and kind of show everybody, including the crafter.
So we're...
Wait, let me go back in my...
But I'm pretty sure that Braylock could know what this is anyway, so...
And Braylock pulls it, he takes it from you and just... It's tiny compared to... It's tiny. And he holds it up to the light, and he's like... Histian gave this to you, didn't he? He's like, yeah, when Histian was staying with me, let's just say we did some projects. This is a mighty gift. He's like, if ever you're in the Four Isles, you will find warm welcome.
Ooh. Thank you, sir. I'll keep that in mind. I'll take my leave.
Right as he bows, and Mev is kind of confused, and Mev's like, wait a second, where are you going? And you just, the alderman starts walking out of his house.
Oh.
Zenori under his vest, like,
And Ryan is just like,
I'll pat Zenori on the back.
Braylock is hands down the gear, and you just see in slow motion he notices the alderman walking out, and the alder lady also sees this, and she steps out of the way, and then just holds Mev's hand.
Wait, What?
Bray Luke
Yeah,
goes
I'm
to
gonna
meet
motion
the
everybody.
alderman halfway, and you hear and feel the rumble of his footsteps as each step he takes towards the alderman, and you see the alderman start to falter and start to move just a little bit slower on his path to greet the crafter. The alderman's like, "Bray Luke, my old friend," and the crafter just picks him up by the scruff of his shirt and brings him right back, sets him down. He's like, "I want you to tell me what I heard wasn't true." He's like, "I want you to tell me with complete honesty that you have not been mistreating any other beings, let alone beings who give a shit about slime like you."
Ooh.
The
Moshi's loving this, by the way.
This got personal because his brother was involved.
The alderman is bumbling, and he's like, "Maybe if they just worked a little bit harder."
Oh, whoop his ass. I am so ready to throw down.
I cover Ivanya's eyes.
What? I've seen enough. Let me look at this. I want to see this go down.
Bray Luke takes a deep breath, and the patience of a swirling crafter is deep. But he pulls out a letter, hands it to him, and he's like, "Please read that."
Aloud, please. Aloud!
And Bray Luke nods over at you, and he's like, "Yes, aloud, for everyone here."
I thought I was gonna have to pick up my own head and look over his shoulder.
And you see the other Jeptunier pull out some parchment, and he is logging, and the second one returns, and the second one signs what he's logging. The alderman starts reading this letter, and he was like, to Alderman Milno, "It has come to my attention that you are no longer seen fit to serve as alderman of Orkney, and you are asked to step down and move out on your own accord."
Bye.
It's like, failure to leave on your own accord, you will be forcefully removed and no longer welcome in any of my lands. And he's like, the rest is up to the discretion of your messenger, Bray Luke. I leave any and all judgments, situational or proverbial, in his capable hands. Signed, Lord Balin Rude Shalin Ray.
No idea who that is, but
he is Lord of the lands, including Chenagawa and Orkney. He owns the lands. And the alderman runs the villages.
I recognize this name, don't I?
You do, as your father-in-law.
Oh, damn!
Oh, shit!
They don't know that yet, and they're drama mongering. But yes, you do.
No big deal.
Well, Ivanya's just losing her shit based on the fact that the alderman's being he's dethroned, the right word, right in front of her.
He's being fired. He's being fired.
Yes.
And right there, he goes to fold it up and hand it back to Bray Luke, and Bray Luke's like, "No,
You can keep that.
He's like, "You can keep that." But then he motions over to the older lady, and he's like, "We need to talk business." And she's like, "First thing is first. Do you wish to stay?" And the older woman looks over at her husband, and she's like, "Yes, I wish to stay." And he's like, Cassian has informed me that you have been kind You have been a good boss, but you have been at the mercy of someone who is of ill-tainted heart. So he says, you are welcome to stay. Do you want to continue to help run Orkney? And she's like, well, there's still a few things that I need to learn. She's like, but I would be happy to. I mean, unless you had someone else in mind. And he was like, how about a partnership? He's like, motions over to Casion. He's like, Casion took classes in this 4 Isles specifically for political management. If you will have him, if you will have him, I'm sure you can put those classes to use. And Casion's just like, are you kidding me? He's like, I almost failed those classes. And he's like, yeah, but you'll learn. Casion's like, oh. And he's like, to help you guys. He snaps his fingers. Out from underneath one of the ear fins of the Jeptuniers flies a little water antieri. And it looks like just like this blob of water, but then as it's flying, some of the wings, just seem to just be like a rippling little water effect. And it sits on the palm of his hand, super, super tiny, almost like just like a little puddle of water, and stands up into this cute little big-eyed water antieri. And he's like, Kipley will help you. Kipley has been helping me manage Chenogawa for 5 cycles? And she's like, 6! Rude! He's like, Kipley can stay with you until you guys get settled. And, so Kipley flies over to Casion and then flies over and whispers in the ear and then flies over to the elder woman. And she's like, if you will have me, my lady. And the elder woman's like, of course.
While the alderman is distracted, can I pickpocket him?
Oh my god.
We're talking about the alderman?
Yeah, he's the bad guy.
This guy's got connections.
Way to kick someone when they're down, but okay.
Well,
I'm going to have you roll a double roll. One for investigation. Roll.
Ooh, okay.
Oh my god.
That's a 20.
Okay. Second, sleight of hand.
Oh. That is a 19.
Can I roll for perception?
No.
Based on morals alone?
You may roll for perception. Because you are rolling your eyes so hard, you are definitely not looking around.
Can I also tie his shoelaces together?
No.
Does he have shoelaces? Can I do that?
Not
please?
adept enough.
I
Please?
didn't see it.
Oh.
I didn't see it.
All right.
Oh no.
Moshi, he is in his day robes. You can't really see if there's anything in any sort of pockets that might possibly be there. But as he is holding out this letter and just like he's zoned out and just like, oh my god, and looking at the fountain trying to make sense. She's already like, give it. You slip a signet ring off of his finger.
Yes.
My god.
All right.
Okay.
I'm just enthralled by the conversation that's happening.
How
Like-
how
Well,
heavy
like-
is Moshi?
I'd like to think Moshi's pretty light.
How light?
I don't know.
Like less than 10 pounds per foot light?
What?
No.
No.
Okay. Can Vanya roll to see if she sees any of it? I don't plan on stopping you, but I want to see
Nice.
if
I
I
was-
notice all this.
Roll for
But, like-
perception.
But like, can I tie his shoelaces together? Come on.
He is wearing sandals at this moment.
Can I buckle them to each other? Come on, man.
I rolled a 26.
Whoa.
He's wearing a robe. Can I like?
So you
I
saw
don't know.
the alderman in just this complete and utter disbelief, and like his life is over, and he knows it, and he's trying to calculate in his head what he's gonna do. But then Moshi comes up and from the hand he's holding the paper with slips off
Yeah.
and pockets it. Just
Vaya's mind is just like.
so the alderwoman and Bray Luke and the Jeptuniers, appearing to be escorts of some sort, are also formal scribes to make sure that the signing over of power for Orkney is official and done right. Then the crafter looks back over at Yuzunori and he's like, with your permission, I would like to make a few more changes around here.
I think you need my permission, sir.
And he's like, from what Cassian has been telling me, you are very good to this town, and I do not want to do anything without running it by you first.
I'll leave it in your capable hands, sir.
And he's like, thank you. He's like, Alderman, is there anything in your house that you hold of value? And he's like, well, yeah, I still have to get my stuff out and da-da-da-da-da-da.
Really?
And he looks at the alderwoman and he's like, my lady, is there anything that you value in the house? And she's like, nah.
I can help the alderman pack. Does he need help?
The crafter cracks his knuckles and walks away from you guys. Just a few paces away. He's about 100 of his paces away from the house, and just stands in front of it.
No.
And he
No.
reaches
No.
down and just grabs the dirt and feels the dirt a bit. And at this point, the druid, when he bends down, is running like down his back and running back to you guys, and she's like, "This is gonna be good."
It's gonna be good.
She grabs another sweet bun and she looks
Man, this lady eats.
she looks over at you, Sorn, and she's like, do you feel it? And it's just you both are feeling what is like static electricity building in the air. Can what?
Can I cast detect magic and see if he just like lights up bright
You
bright
can't.
yellow?
You
Wait,
don't
it's a
even
cantrip for you,
see
is
his form
Yeah, no.
anymore. That it is just this massive bubble
It's like
of
I'm
magic.
staring at the sun.
Pretty much. And he looks at the house. He looks back at the crowd. You guys can't really tell what he's looking at. He's just sizing it up. He reaches back, pulls out his massive hammer.
I like take a step back, like,
Man, if
I take a
Moshi
step
had a
forward.
Video camera.
The alderman
Video camera.
at this point is screaming at the top of his lungs, like, don't do it, don't. And Cassian's just like, just headlocks him.
Moshi's
You can't
like,
tell
"Go,
if he's
go,
breathing
go,
or not,
go."
but like, Bray Luke takes the hammer above his head, slams it to the ground, and you all see the ground crack in what appears to be like a lightning kind of formation. Lightning or tree roots just scatter from the hammer and go up the walls of the house. The glass in the house shatters, but then it hovers in midair. The wood paneling starts to shift. And you see tiles in the floor also start to move and shift.
Super cool. Oh, she is loving this.
The pillars do kind of a little wave, and some of them move, but especially the door frame starts to unhinge itself and almost like, doing this kind of cracking motion, and it is widening and gaining in height. And as he picks up the hammer, the light fades away. The glass shoots back into the windows, back into place. The paint settles down, the tiles settle down, and you realized he had changed the whole house to house Nefarians comfortably.
Ooh.
Nice.
I was hoping he was gonna blow it up. I wanted to sift through the rubble, but
Me too. Honestly, I was really
That's
looking forward to
badass.
that, but this is pretty cool.
I thought he was going to teleport all of his gear out onto the lawn. He's like, what?
I actually thought he was gonna turn the house into like this small backpack where like, well, now you're all packed.
There
Now
you go,
Get
get
out
out
of
of
this town.
You're ready to go. Bye-bye.
no, he only has tiny versions of everything he used to own.
Yeah.
Including the world's smallest violin.
So he has his hammer in one hand. He tosses it over to his other hand, and now he's holding the head of the hammer and sheathes it that way, just one-handed, just turns back around to you guys. And he's like, "My lady, you will find your quarters rearranged and ready for you to move back in." And she's like,
Bravo.
she just bows ever, and then she just ends up running and giving him a quick hug, and she's like,
Wait,
"Thank
the
you."
alderman is still there, isn't he?
Yeah. Caseyon's currently got him in a headlock.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And he's like, "Casey, that's not for how an alderman behaves." And he's like,
Oh yeah.
"Yeah." And he's like, "Oh yeah, this is how he behaved, isn't it?" And just kind of lets him down. Now you guys realize that Casey had been blocking his breath the entire time as the alderman is now gasping. And he's like,
That's what
"I
you get.
sincerely hope you really didn't need anything from your house, because it's probably a few feet under the earth right now. But not that that's going to matter, because you're not going to be able to reach it." And he picks him up again. And he's just like, "If I ever hear you mistreat someone again, there's not going to be words left to speak to you." And he hands him over to the two Jeptoniers who escort him down the village.
Damn, bye-bye. Bye forever.
Braylon
Wow.
looks down at Yuzunori and he's like, "I sincerely hope you don't mind me going over your head like that."
I'm not worried. Although my commander's going to have a lot of paperwork. Oh, God.
And
Oh,
right as you say that, Commander Bard is seeing, standing at the bottom of the hill and seeing the Jeptuniers escort the alderman out, and they hand him papers. And he's just like, "Yo, thank you." And he's like, "Oh!" He's running up with the papers. And he's like, "Okay, it took me forever to get through town. I apologize. Well." And he's just like, so he looks over at the alderwoman, and he's like, reads the paper, and he's like, "So you and Casion," and he squints. "Kipley? Is that who's Kipley?" And right there from the alderman, what seems like a lump of wet hair reforms, and she's like, "That's me." And he's like, "Oh, pleasure to meet you." And Kipley's like, "Thank you." And he's like, "Are you gonna be staying?" She's like, "Only as long as they need me, then I'll fly back on a bird or something." And he's like, okay. Looks over at Yusunori and he's like, "Report?"
well, what can I say? The crafter brain has arrived in town and shook things up before we could get a handle in it. Literally.
And Braylon gets back with you guys, and he's just like, if I were a lesser person, I would have smashed him with my hammer. But, I mean, gotta keep up some sort of appearance. And the commander's like, it is good to see you, old friend. They end up doing like the kind of like little brotherly like embrace, as much as your commander is really trying. And he's like, I am sorry it took me so long. Why didn't you tell me about what was going on? And the commander's like, this puny little... He's like, you have enough on your plate on a daily basis. I wasn't going to bother you with this, but then we just found out, like... And he looks over you, and he's like, what, a week ago? Of what was happening? And Braylon looks over at Cassian, and Cassian nods, and he's like, yeah, they honestly did not know. And he's like...
Can I give Cassian the signet ring? Because he's gonna need it.
You may.
Heart.
Oh, that was nice of you.
Oh, I'm actually waiting. I want to hear you give it to him because I'm wondering what you're going to tell him.
Yo, Cassian!
Yeah. Cassian's like, Moshi, right?
Yep.
He's like,
Yeah, here you go.
okay. He catches it, and he's like,
You're gonna need that!
And he's like, I suppose we will need this. And he looks down at Kipley, and Kipley's just like, you know, she picks up the ring with both her hands, and she's like, maybe. She's like, I have to do research. It may just be a family ring, but if this is the Alderman ring, yeah, we were gonna need it. And Cassian's like, all right, thank you, Moshi. And Braylon looks like, I am absolutely famished. I don't suppose we can eat before I go down there. And the older woman's like, well, I mean, you rearranged the house. Did you leave anything in the kitchen? And right there, Braylon's like, no. No, I did not.
Jaundice.
Oh, it goes back to jaundice.
And Braylon looks like, you know what? And he looks at the captain. He's like, I don't suppose you could help us clear the way. And at this point, Vindern and Hada and Asanti and your last one. Hold on, I almost said Ugravan, who is still bleary-eyed. Definitely probably drank too much last night. And Vindern is like blushing. He's like, don't say a word! Don't say a word! They're at the bottom of the hill and they're ready. And he's like, I don't suppose you could escort us and help us set up a table. He's like, if I ever call Jaundice, I do not want to impose inside. I will dine outside her establishment.
Can he even fit in there?
He cannot. And so the commander's like, we got you. And he runs down the hill and he's like, Tsunori, stay with him. And gives orders to Vindern and them to start escorting you guys through town. With that being said, we are at time. This is a good pause point before we breach the crowd.
Woo! Excellent. Very good session.
Oh yeah. A lot of funny.
I was trying to be so serious about it. It's like, it's just so
we
satisfying.
made it that way.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
Awesomely crafted. But okay, with that being said, announcements, formalities, because that's a word. Yes, Webtoons. Currently, that is updating every Monday, so be sure to hop on that and like and follow. Also, subscribe and follow and all of the great things, because the more you guys support me, the more I can create wholesome content that my players spin into hilarious situations.
You're welcome.
With that being said, stay safe, stay nerdy. We'll see you guys same time next week. Bye.